Please be seated. The court is now in session. Today, the chamber hears testimony of a witness through TCW 920 through a video link from Battambang province. We also have a reserved witness whom we heard yesterday. And today the witness is a reserved witness. Mr. Sakobuti, please report the attendance of the parties and other individuals to today's proceedings. Grazie, Mr. President, for today's proceedings. All parties to this case are present. And Mary Giro, the international lead co-lawyer for third parties, who will be absent for the first session today for personal reasons. Mr. Nunchi is present in the holding cell downstairs. He has waived his rights to be present in the courtroom. The waiver has been delivered to the greffier. The witness who is to testify today, that is to TCW 920, confirms that to his best knowledge, he has no relationship by blood or by law to any of the two accused, that is Nunchi and Khieu Sampon, or any of the civil parties admitted in this case. The witness took an oath on the 5th of December 2016, and he is testifying via video link from Battambang. He also has Mr. Mom Ratir as his duty counsel. We also have a reserve witness waiting to be called by the chamber. And it has been informed that the video link is established and the witness is ready to testify. President, thank you. The chamber now decides on the request by Nunchi. The chamber has received a waiver from Nunchi dated 6 December 2016, which states that due to his health, that is headache, back pain, he cannot sit or concentrate for long, and in order to effectively participate in future hearings, he requests to waive his right to be present at the 6 December 2016 hearing. Having seen the medical report of Nunchi by the duty doctor for the accused at the ECCC, dated 6 December 2016, which notes that today Nunchi has a lower back pain and feels dizzy when he sits for long, and recommends that the chamber shall grant him his request so that he can follow the proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs. Based on the above information and pursuant to Rule 81.5 of the ECCC internal rules, the chamber grants Nunchi his request to follow today's proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs via an audio-visual means. The chamber instructs the AV unit personnel to link the proceedings to the room downstairs so that Nunchi can follow. That applies for the whole day. And before we begin hearing testimony of witness to TCW 920, the chamber notes that this witness has been interviewed in an ongoing investigation in another case, and the International Co-Investigating Charge put this witness in Group A in his memorandum, that is E319/35, and requests that pseudonyms shall be used for this witness in order to protect the confidentiality of the investigation. The chamber deems this limited measure is legally appropriate in this case. And this instruction shall take into account the balance between the need for public hearings and the integrity of the investigation. The Chamber reminds the parties that they shall adhere strictly to the instructions in document E319/7 for the use of documents which have been disclosed from other cases. And the Chamber, through Visu, provides duty counsel to this witness during his testimony, and the counsel is Mom Ratir. Good morning, Mr. Witness. Again, good morning, Mr. Witness. Witness, yes. President, witness, are you ready to testify? Witness, yes, I am ready. President, thank you. And per the request by the International Co-Investigating Judge, throughout the proceedings to hear your testimony, you only be referred to by pseudonym, that is to TCW 920, and generally parties will refer to you as witness. And the Chamber will not allow parties, including judges of the bench, to refer to your full name in this public proceeding. And because the witness is elderly, although he can read, the Chamber requests Mom Ratir to assist the witness. And if there is the case, please, you should only whisper to the witness. And Mr. Mom Ratir, the graphic actually prepare a document for the witness to view, that is E3/9473 at Khmer EN 0094 5416, English 0097 6956, and French 0096 7262. Please show the document to the witness so that he can read the highlighted portion in orange. Specifically, that is your full names, nationality, date of birth, place of birth, occupation, the names of your parents, your wife, and the number of your children, whether the information is correct. And after you read it, please simply say it is correct or not correct. Witness, it is correct. President, thank you. And Mr. Witness, the graphic made an oral report that you are not related by blood or by law to any of the two accused, that is Noji and Keo Sampon, or any of the civil parties admitted in this case. Is the report correct? Answer, yes, it is correct. President, have you taken an oath according to your belief and religion? Answer, yes. President, Mr. Witness, have you taken an oath that according to your religion before you appear to testify before us? Witness, I have. President, thank you. And the Chamber would like to inform you of your rights and obligations as a witness. Your rights as a witness in the proceedings before the Chamber you may refuse to respond to any question or to make any comment which may incriminate you, that is, your right against self-incrimination. Your obligations as a witness in the proceedings before the Chamber, you must respond to any questions by the bench or relevant parties, except where your response or comments to those questions may incriminate you. And as a witness, you must tell the truth that you have known, heard, seen, remember, experienced, or observed directly about an event or occurrence relevant to the questions that the bench or parties pose to you. And Mr. Witness, have you been interviewed by investigators from the Office of the Co-Investigating Judges of the ECCC? Answer. The interpreter cannot hear the witness properly. President, witness, have you been interviewed by investigators from the Khmer Rouge Tribunal? Answer, yes. Question, and before you appear before us, have you read or have it read out to you, that is regarding your written record of your interview with the investigators in order to refresh your memory? Answer, yes, I have. President, and to your recollection, does the written record of your statement conform to what you told the investigators? Answer, yes, I have read it in full. President, and because the witness is old, that is, he is 93 years old, and it is also difficult to hear him when he speaks. So, parties, please make sure that your questions are short and precise so that the witness can answer your questions. And pursuant to Rule 91bis of the ECCC, the Chamber grants the floor first to the co-prosecutors before other parties, and the combined time for the co-prosecutors and the lead co-lawyers 2 court sessions.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning to all parties. Good morning, witness. My name is Vincent de Wilde, and I'm going to put a few questions to you on behalf of the co-prosecutors. If you do not understand one of my questions, please ask me to repeat that question, and I will also ask you to provide me with concise answers. If I need more detail, I will put other questions to you. So try to answer as precisely as possible to the questions that are put to you. And I'm aware of the fact that the facts are old and it's not very easy to remember them. So if you do not remember something, simply tell us that you do not remember. So I have a few topics to discuss. First, your general personal history before the capture of Phnom Penh, and in particular what you did in the 1950s and 1960s with Ruhnim and Tanunchia. And then I'll have a few questions regarding your duties after 17 April 1975, and I will focus then on the arrests that took place in the Northwest Zone before and after the arrest of Rusnim. So first, regarding the 1950s and 1960s, could you tell us when exactly you joined the revolution and for which leader did you work?
I joined the revolution in 1969. And in fact it was 66.
You mentioned rather the 1950s in your various statements, so are you sure that you're not mixing up 1966 with 1956? In particular, I'm referring to WRI E3/9473 at answer 2. You said that you joined the Khmer Isarak, or that you were with the Khmer Isarak until 1954, and then you joined the Khmer Rouge in 1956, thanks to the sponsoring of Ahbat.
During the 50s, I was with the Isra movement, and at around 66, I joined the Khmer Rouge.
So, did you work with Ruhnim and Nunchia, and if yes, when?
That happened a long time ago. I was assigned as a courier between Battambang and Phnom Penh.
How did you fulfill your duties? Who appointed you as a messenger between Phnom Penh and Battambang?
At that time, it was Ruhnim.
And in Phnom Penh, to whom would you deliver messages?
Nunchi was in Phnom Penh.
Fine. So, as of which year did you work as a messenger between Nunchia and Ruhnim? And up until which period?
I worked as a air messenger since 1966.
Well, I know that it might be hard for you to remember the dates, but in your WRI E3/9473, this is what you said at answer 2. In 1960, Dat Nunchia appointed me messenger for Tahnim. I had to carry his letters from Battambang to Phnom Penh to give them to Nunchia. In 1966, I fled to hide in Samlot district. End of quote. Because I was denounced. So does that correspond to your memories that you were a messenger between 1960 and 1966, when you were a messenger between Ruhnim and Nunchia?
After the information was leaked, I fled to the forest.
So when you worked as a messenger between Nunchia and Ruhnim, or rather when you worked as a messenger for Ruhnim delivering messages to Nunchia, did both of these leaders trust you?
Yes, they trusted me. That's why I was assigned as a messenger to carry messages back and forth. So when they knew that I could work for them, they allowed me to work. But in 1966, I went into hiding in Samlot.
So you enjoyed Ruhnim and Nunchia's trust between 1960 and 1966, but later, during the decay regime, that is to say between 75 and 1979, did both of these leaders still trust you?
Yes, they trusted me.
Can you tell us what Nunchia's role was in the 1960s within the party?
After they trusted me, later on I was enrolled as a party's member.
What was Nunchia's role in the party back then? Was he one of the main leaders?
Nunchia was in Phnom Penh.
Do you know if he had any position within the standing committee of the party?
I only knew that he worked in Phnom Penh and I worked for Ruhnim. He sent me to carry messages back and forth.
À l'époque,
Back then, within the party, who was of a higher rank than the other? Was it Nuncia or was it Ruhnim? Was it Nuncia who held the highest rank, or was it Ruhnim?
President, witness, please hold on. And Councillor Copper, you have the floor.
I object to the formulation of this question. There is a third alternative, that they were both equally ranking, since both were members of the Standing Committee.
Well, then I will rephrase the question, but first I'll put another question to the witness. Witness, did you see yourself, Nuncia and Ruhnim, together, whether in Phnom Penh or in Battambang?
Nuncia was in Phnom Penh, while Ruhnim was in Battambang.
Did one or the other travel to go meet the second in charge? Did Ruhnim go to Phnom Penh to meet Nuncia, or did Nuncia go to Battambang to meet Ruhnim while you were a messenger?
They did not meet each other because I was sent as a messenger to carry messages. And Ruhnim was the one who was closer to the people on the ground, while Nuncia was in Phnom Penh.
Fine. Well, I'm not going to dwell on this, but I think that you said in some of your statements that Nuncia came to see Takao or Tasambat, that is to say the other names for Ruhnim, in a place called Ponley at Svecha. That is something you said in E3/9084. And you said this before the interview. It's at DCCAM in French. It's at page 17. The English draft, whose translation is a bit poor, is on page 23, and in Khmer it's at ERN 0057650. Witness, do you remember having said that Nuncia came to see Ruhnim in Sraicha, in a place called Ponley?
He came from Phnom Penh and disembarked the train at Battambang at Samlot. That was the upper part of that area.
D'accord. Quand vous avez vu
Very well. When you saw Nuncia arrive, you also talk of the presence of Ruhnim. Who respected the one more than the other? Did they consider one another as equals, or the one considered himself superior to the other in the hierarchy?
Ruhnim respected Nuncia, and Nuncia was higher in rank.
Que saviez-vous de
What did you know of Sied, S-I-E-D, and Sieng, S-I-E-N-G, in the communist movement, and of his ties with Nuncia?
Interpreter could not hear clearly what the witness said.
Monsieur le témoin, est-ce que vous pourriez répéter?
Witness, could you please repeat your answer? I have not heard what you said regarding Siu Heng.
Do you? No. Or is there no translation?
President, it is very difficult to understand what he said in Khmer, and it's very difficult for interpreters, I believe, to interpret his messages. AV unit, could you please increase the volume, because the testimony given by this witness is very difficult to understand. So please first coordinate with the staff members over there so that the witness could be a bit closer to the mic, or the sound is better. President, Mr. Co-Prosecutor, you may now resume your questioning, and please repeat your last question.
Merci, Monsieur.
Thank you, Mr. President. Witness, I had just put a question to you regarding Siu Heng. I asked you what you knew about him within the revolutionary movement, as well as his ties with Nuon Chea. Can you please repeat your answer?
The interpreters did not understand what the witness said. Nuon Chea came to Phnom Penh, and Ruon Nhum was stationed in Battambang. And I carried messages to Phnom Penh. And also I brought messages and letters from Phnom Penh to Battambang.
D'accord, nous n'avons.
Very well. We did not receive the interpretation of what you said on CF Eveng, but let me read out to you what you told CDCAM, document E3/9084, page 8 in French, and the English draft is on page 18, and in Khmer 000-57640. I'll perhaps first read before the defense counsel can speak, otherwise we will not be able to make progress. This is what you said, witness. Siêu Heng,
Kong Samon, it's not the objection I wish to put, but the co-prosecutor said that he did not get the interpretation. Siêu Heng and Ru Nhâm was at Song Kai.
Merci.
thank you. Now, witness, this is what you had stated before. Siêu Heng was a junior uncle of Nuon Chea. However, Siêu Heng died. He betrayed those close to him in 1962. He betrayed his supporters and killed them. Later on, it was considered that Siêu Heng was a traitor. At the time of the coup d'etat, Siêu was paralyzed and no longer left the Wat Ko pagoda. And then in 1975, the war had ended and he was dragged and executed. He was not spared. End of quote. You state that Siêu Heng was executed in 1975. Do you know who ordered his execution?
I do not know clearly. They worked together, and it was accused that Siêu Heng betrayed. That's why he was killed.
Est-ce que cette trahison supposée de
Was this supposed treason by Siêu Heng in 1962 contribute within the party to a certain culture of defiance, mistrust, and paranoia?
They no longer trusted one another, and there was an order to smash them.
Vous avez dit tout à l'heure,
You stated a while ago that after you had served as a messenger up to 1966, you went into hiding. When did you join the revolutionary ranks again? Did you again join the revolution before the capture of Phnom Penh on the 17th of April 1975?
I went into the forest, and I still had a communication with other people. I was on a constant communication.
avant la prise.
Prior to the fall of Phnom Penh on the 17th of April 1975, did you join the revolutionary ranks again in a more active manner? Did you come out of hiding and become a normal citizen?
After I came out of the forest, I became a chairman of the schools association. Schools were to be created in Old Dambong Mui commune.
Après le 17 avril,
After the 17th of April 1975, did you hold any duty post, particularly in your commune, Odambang Moy?
I was part of the commune at Odambang Moy. We won the victory against Lunal's group.
alors vous avez
Now, you stated before DCCAM E3/9084, page 35 in French, 48 in English, and Khmer 000-57670. The question that was put to you was as follows, and it was asked by Dani. After the capture of Phnom Penh in 1975, were you immediately appointed chief of the Odambang Cooperative? And your answer was yes. Truly, at the beginning, Odambang Commune initially was part of Region Number 4, end of quote. And then you explained that it subsequently became part of Region 3. Is it correct that you were chief of the Odambang Cooperative?
I was the chairman of a cooperative in Old Dambong, Sector 3.
alors 2-3
Now, I have 3 or 4 questions on the structure of power. On the structure of power in the Northwest Zone, who were the leaders in the Northwest Zone? Who were the members of the Zone Committee?
Ruah was in charge of that zone.
D'accord.
Very well. You also made mention of Take on several occasions, as well as Tapat. Take was deputy secretary and Tapat was member. Is that correct? Can you confirm that?
Tapat assigned me a duty so that I could take care of at Old Dambong.
Alors qui
Now, who were the leaders of Region Number 3 as you knew them?
He died already. President, the Deputy Co-Prosecutor, could you repeat your question? Perhaps the witness may not have recalled your question. Bong Heng Kieu, said the witness. And Bong Ruh Nhâm.
Monsieur le témoin
that person was removed from Songkai to Sector 3, and Ruhnyam had overall in charge of Sector number 3. An individual was transferred to Sector number 3 in charge of 7 communes. Motko, Ovail, Chri, Phnom Sampau, communes, and these communes were placed under the responsibility of Sector number 3.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler?
Did you ever hear of leaders at the level of Sector 3, Tacham, CHAM, and in Phnom Sampel district, Tahun? In any case, you mentioned their names in your WRI E3/9473 in answer number 9.
Est-ce que vous vous souvenez de Tacham et de...
Do you recall Tacham and Tahun?
The Cham and Tahun, they were removed at a later stage because they conducted an opposing activity. The Cham and Tahun were removed.
Monsieur le témoin,
Witness, after the 17th of April 1975, in the Northwest Zone, what became of the former Lon Nol soldiers or senior officials of the Lon Nol regime? Were they sought after?
That issue did not happen at my location. I was at Odombong. I protected everyone there as long as they could adjust themselves to as long as they could live together with us. And J, from the area from J area to the east, killings occurred. Nothing happened at my location, although they were colonels or had 5 strokes on their soldiers. They could survive.
donc en dehors de votre localité,
Apart from your area, I have indeed understood that you protected certain persons. Outside of your area, was there any systematic search for former soldiers, rank officers, and former military officers of Lon Nol? And if yes, who issued instructions that the search be conducted?
Those who worked and lived with me could live there very safely, although they were colonels. They could live there peacefully, and I do not know what happened at JJ location.
Vous aviez été précis à la...
In answer number 2 of the WRI E3/9473, and at the end of the answer you said that Tacham was a very cruel man. As a matter of fact, after 1975, soldiers of the Lon Nol government had hidden in the jungle, and Tacham went out in a vehicle in order to track them down and capture them. End of quote.
President, please hold on. Mr. Witness, you may not proceed, Copper.
Yes, prosecution conveniently forgets the very last sentence, which says, "But I never saw him kill anyone." Monsieur le témoin, est-ce que Tach...
Witness, when Tacham went out in a vehicle in order to track down and capture soldiers of the Lon Nol government, did he act alone, or do you know whether he was obeying instructions from the upper echelon?
He wanted to conduct the arrest. He was chasing those people who went into the forest, particularly those who opposed the plan.
Il y a un autre passage qui...
There is another passage in the same WRI, that is E3/9473, questions and answers 27 and 28. And you said that you had to give an account as head of the Odambang Moy commune to Tahun. And this was the question that was put to you. Apart from giving an account of the yields of ripe paddy fields, what else did you have to account for? Your answer was as follows: I had to give an account of the number of people existing in the commune, behavioral problems among the inhabitants, and the existence of enemies in the village. Question 28. Who did you make allusion to when you talk of the enemies? Answer: the enemies were the officials and government soldiers of the former regime. They asked us to say whether they had strange activities or not. I, for my part, reported that those people were all members of the party, all of them, end of quote. Now, you say in the passage that the enemies were the officials and soldiers of the government of the former regime. During meetings with you, did Runim talk about those enemies, that is, the former soldiers and officials of the Lon Nol government?
As long as they could get along with my people in my location, although they held a higher position, they could live peacefully. President, the witness does not really understand your question, Deputy Co-Prosecutor, and the staff member of Vesu is Lini Mol. Are you there? Mr. President, I am here at in the room, President, and please try to help the witness with the question put to him. Please try to make him understand the question, otherwise he cannot give his answer correctly. Do you understand that? Staff member, yes, I understand that, Mr. President. I will try to make him understand the question. And Mr. Co-Prosecutor, you may now resume your questioning.
Merci.
Thank you. Once more, I will not dwell on the situation that was prevalent in your Odambang Moi cooperative, but rather on what Ronin may have said regarding the enemies, as he qualified government soldiers and senior officials of the former regime as the enemy. My question is whether you heard Ronin talk about this during meetings and conversations with you. Did he talk about the enemies?
The question is that when you met Ruhnyam, did Ruhnyam says that other officials were enemies? Did he say that? Witness, no. He says that as long as those people did what we told them to do and could live, could get along with us, they could live peacefully. At some locations, they killed each other, but not at my location. In the areas to the east, sector number 4, they killed people. And some people went into the forest, and after they came back, they executed each other. President, the question is that did you hear anything the Ruhnyam said in the meetings, particularly about the fact that measures needed to be taken against the enemies? For example, those who were former Lon Nol soldiers and Lon Nol officials. Did Ruhnyam ever talk about that? Answer, no, he did not say anything like that. He says that as long as they could accommodate themselves and live with us peacefully, they could live peacefully. President, and Mr. Co-Prosecutor, you may now resume your questioning. President, I have recalled and reminded parties that questions should be short and simple. Please do not, give your prior description before the questions put to the witness. Keep the questions short and simple.
Witness, regarding the enemies of the regime, did any person in the Northwest Zone who did not follow the party discipline or the policies of the Ankar in terms of collectivization, for example, could they be considered as enemies?
As long as they could adapt themselves and not to oppose us, then they will be considered as ordinary civilians. And here I'm speaking only about my area. Linimul, the question is, do you understand the question? Later on, the Northwest people were accused of being traitors by the Southwest. That is when the Southwest group arrived.
Fine. My question was more general. It was not only focused on those who accepted the party discipline or the orders of Ankar. I was focusing more on the people who opposed Ankar, whether it be in your sector or, more generally speaking, in other sectors of the Northwest Zone. What would happen to those who would oppose and reject Ankar's orders and discipline?
I cannot say about other areas, but I can only say about my area. Linimul, in your area, if people didn't obey the discipline, were measures taken against them? That is in your area? Answer, no. Even for the former lunar soldiers, as long as they followed us, they would be safe. As long as they did not oppose us, we would protect them.
I would like to turn to very specific cases. What happened to Tahun under the DK regime? And who was in charge of his situation?
Linimul, do you understand the question? Do you recall Tahun? Answer, Tahun was a district committee. And question, and what happened to Tahun during the regime? Answer, later on, Tahun was removed. He did not work there anymore.
Witness, do you know if he was withdrawn, as you said, before the arrest of Ruhnim or after that?
He was removed. He was removed before, and it was Ruhnim.
De quoi?
What was Hearn accused of by Ruhnim?
His activities were suspicious, and that happens because of the mistrust of one another, and for that reason he was removed.
Do you know where Ruhnim sent Hearn to?
The Hearn was removed. And I did not know where he was sent to. He simply disappeared.
At answer 10 of your WRI E3/9473, you said Rohnim arrested Ta Hun at the beginning of 1978, probably. And you said that after the visit of a Chinese delegation, Nim arrested Hun after having accused him of being a CIA agent and before sending him to Phnom Penh. End of quote. So back then, did you know that Hun had been sent to Phnom Penh?
Ta Hun was removed and then he disappeared. I did not know where he was sent to.
Est-ce que vous avez...
Did you ever hear during meetings Rohnim or other cadres say that Ta Hun had betrayed the revolution?
I did not hear that. I only knew that he was removed and disappeared.
Tout à l'heure, vous avez également...
Earlier, you also spoke about Tacham, Chham, Tacham, who was the leader of Sector 3. What happened to Tacham under the DK regime? Did he disappear as well?
Later on, Tacham was removed and disappeared as well, and I did not know where he was sent to.
Was Tacham arrested before or after Rohnim was arrested?
Tacham was arrested before Rohnim. He disappeared and I did not know where he went to.
Can you tell us if Tacham also acted as a leader in the Tramping Pui dam construction?
Regarding Tramping Pui dam, people were used from various cooperatives. Did Tacham have his supervisory role in that area? Answer, no. Because people were selected from various communes to build that dam.
I have another question regarding a zone named Ta Ngon, Ngon. Did you know this Ta Ngon, who apparently had some leadership position in the zone army?
Question, do you recall Ta Ngun, who was a military at the zone level? Answer, I do not recall any person by this name, Ta Ngun.
Non, ce n'est pas Tamoun.
I'm not speaking about Tamoun, I'm speaking about Ta Nguyen. N-G-O-N in French. Maybe N-G-O-A-N. I'm going to read what you said to DCCAM, so it's document E3/9084 at French pages 40 to 41, and the English draft page 54, and in Khmer 0057676 to 677. That Nguyen, N-G-O-N, well, I knew him. But he had climbed the ranks. He became a division leader. That Nguyen had 2 female messengers, young girls, who were in charge of massaging him. That's all that I knew. I said to myself that Tan Nguyen was not going to come out alive. He was not going to survive. His lifestyle led him directly to betrayal. And they called in Tan Nguyen, and they passed him by the firing squad. He could not escape that. Question, was it Tat Nguyen who had him executed? And you answered yes. Tat Nguyen had him executed by firing squad. It was no point sparing him, even if he was a division commander. Question, so therefore he died in 1975. Answer, yes, he died in 1975. And later on you specify that it was rather towards the end of 1975. So regarding this Tat Nguyen, why did you say to DCCAM that it was not worth it to spare him? Was it because he was at odds with the party discipline, or was it for any other reason?
Question, do you recall the Ngon? Answer, which Ngon? I don't remember this person. I do not know the Ngon.
Maybe it's a translation issue, but I heard prosecution say that he was a division commander, and in English he is being described as a unit chief. So I don't know, maybe in French it's different, but in English it says unit chief. That is very much more low ranking than a division commander, which is the highest military position.
Well, in any case, I believe that the English draft was not proofed and was not translated by a professional translator, so I don't believe that we can rely on the English translation, because it's only a draft. But of course, this needs to be confirmed. But I'm going to move ahead.
President, Deputy Co-Prosecutor, please give me the exact Khmer EIN number.
Yes, 000576676. That's where I believe his position is described. And the rest of the quote continues on to the following page.
What about the national staff? Could you please verify the Khmer EIN, because I cannot locate it. Mr. President, it's in document E3/9084. EIN is at 00057-676. The name Tang Ngon was mentioned, and that he rose to become divisional commander Thank you. President, thank you. It is now a convenient time for a short break, and the chamber will take a break now and resume at 25 to 11 to continue the proceeding. And Mr. Witness, it is now recess time, and we will resume at 25 to 11 to continue our proceedings. And Nimol, please assist the witness and have him return to the same location at 25 to 11. The court is now in recess.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ